Hey, Sue, it's swtorPaladin, and I'm doing something a little different. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with doing this. But I like to review trailers, and nothing has been pissing me off more lately than this shitty show that Disney's coming out with called Star Wars Rebels. It infuriates me that Clone Wars got canceled for this. People are in love with the show. I'm gonna walk you through really quick the new short they released back on the 11th called A Machine in the Ghost. Okay. Sounds turned off because I don't want to get busted or whatever. It's just a review of the trailer and my opinion. Machine the Ghost. They're flying along. Okay, how many TIE fighters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. They're shooting at him. The shields are up. She's talking. Blah, 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 blah. Talk, 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 talk. Talk, talk, talk. Okay. He goes, talk, 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 talk. Okay, they're gonna... Blah, 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 blah. Fucking talking. Okay. So he's gonna fight the TIE fighters off. Okay. Han and Chewie used to do this all the time. No problems. Okay, but just whatever. Let's just do this. Okay. There's 2. He's shooting. Missing, missing, missing. Oh, finally hits one. Okay, there should be 3 left. Right? Okay, 3 left. Alright. Oh, all of a sudden there's 2 there. Okay, so he just shot 1. So that must be the second formation, I suppose, right? Okay, because there's 2. Okay. Oh, blah, 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 blah. More talking, more talking. More talking. Okay, so there's that formation of 2 again. Who knows even what they're shooting at, because they just flew past him. Then they just flew past him again. Now they're shooting at him. At this point, by the way, the shields are down. That's why the droid's trying to fix the shields. So they just get a direct hit without any shields. That ship should be severely damaged. Okay, they just get rocked a little bit. More talking. They just got shot again. More talking. She just got shot again. Talk, 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 talk. Okay, so that's the one. So that's the one that lost its formation, I guess. Blah, blah, blah. I can't talk to the guy. Fix the comms. Fuck you, says the droid. Okay, whatever. Fucking droid. Oh, more talking, more talking, more talking. More talking, more talking, more talking. Bonk, 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 bonk. See, even the droid's getting irritated. Blah, 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 more talking, more talking. Okay, so there's the one. He doesn't have his buddy. Okay, and the droid's like, bong, 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 bong. Hey, asshole, what? I'm trying to shoot here. Wee, beep, 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 beep. Okay, so he just shot the one where his buddy had already got shot. So that's the... Who knows where the other 2 are right now. They can't hit the broadside of a barn. They keep flying past it, shooting right past it, because I guess they're newbies with Galactic Starfighter. I don't know. Talking, shoot, 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 talking. Shoot, shoot, shoot. But he can't actually be shooting at anything, and their ship's just flying back and forth, not even really hitting anything. And now they're flying another direction, and now they're flying back the other direction. Because you can watch the stars. Oh, talk, 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 wee. Okay, so there's the 2. They're on their butts again. And just flew past him again. She moved. Now they're behind him. She's like, blah, 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 blah. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. So, she finally shoots another one. Okay, blah, 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 huh? He's like, this is getting freaking ridiculous. Ah, I'm going nuts. Haha, comic relief. What did you say? Oh. Okay, he just shot that ship like, what, 6, 8 more times? Yeah. Droid's like, I'm just gonna do this myself. And the droid like zones in and shoots the other one. Okay, so there's 4 TIE fighters. The droid's like, yeah, I shot all 4, all 4. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna come in and they're gonna be all happy to see me. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. They're already like making out. Okay. It's supposed to be like a kids show, kids centric. Main story is a young white boy, of course. and which is whatever, Disney. It's just typical Disney bullshit. But it's just okay. So there's no boys around, so there's like hanky panky going on. Just like TOR. You send everybody off the ship, and then it fades to black, and you start whatever. But alright, they're like, haha, just kidding, because this is a Disney movie, and nobody actually makes out or anything in a freaking Disney movie, which means there's going to be no adult themes at all, because it's a Disney movie, which means there is barely even romantic innuendo, even though in the other trailer they are killing and shooting stormtroopers where there are real people in those, shooting them point blank, killing them, exploding them, planting bombs on their freaking speeders. I mean, murdering stormtroopers left and right, left and right, left and right. But they can't even have. In fact, they even go, haha, just kidding. Like, no, either you guys are a couple or you aren't a couple. Why is there romantic tension here? Like, you just murdered 4 more stormtrooper people, and granted, yes, you were defending yourselves, but does that just, like, get you off? Does that just get you hot? Like, killing those people? Not like, oh, wow, like, we made it, and maybe give each other a little, like, smooch or something, like, yes, we made it, or high fives or whatever. Instead, oh, we gotta go give the droid props. Which is fine, but then they just tell him off, and then they just blast off to hyperspace. I had to watch this a couple times just to even figure out how many TIE fighters they were actually killing. Because it's 1 TIE fighter, then it's 2 TIE fighters, then it's 1, and then it's 2, and then the 2 keep flying by over and over and over and over. I guess she was like ducking and dodging and stuff so much that they just kept missing her. I guess that's fine. Except that they seem to be able to hit her just fine as soon as the plot required them to hit her. But then even when they did hit her, it did absolutely nothing. There was some point where I believe, all of a sudden, okay, so there's like the one little panel, that's when they knocked the shields out. They shot at this thing, they got like 10, 20 hits off on it, because you see a couple, and then she's talking, and then it rocks a couple more times, because that's after this. So it got shot 2-3 times, and those are double barrel, or double laser cannons. Those guys are just completely missing. Blah, 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 blah. Boom, gets some more hits. And then she just gets rocked over and over and over, which means they're actually shooting afterwards. It's just, her ship just gets shot so many times. And I understand that it's not a starfighter, it's an actual starship. Those things have really bulky, beefy hulls. They have, thick armor plating. But you know what that tells me? That tells me that these TIE fighters are absolutely no threat. Okay? These, maybe if all 4 of them just sat there and shot at the ship for a minute, maybe they could eventually blow it up. But it's got like the unless it already had just insanely weak shields to begin with. They came out of nowhere. They hit this thing like 3 times and took the shields out. Why does the ship even need shields if its hull can take so much damage? It's just, I know it's supposed to be a kid's show, But that's what pisses me off about it. You know, I keep saying all the parts with the boy, they're just like Aladdin and Titan AE, which are both favorite movies of mine. But I don't need them merged together in like a subpar version. Okay? Sabine is awesome. When I first saw this, I thought that Sabine, the whole show was going to be about her. And that's I thought, you know what? You're going to make a show and the lead character is going to be a girl bounty hunter. It's probably Satine's daughter. Satine's and Obi-Wan's secret daughter. She's a badass. She looks awesome. She's in pink bounty hunter armor, which is friggin' awesome. They have a great voice actor for her. I'm like, this could be... It's not the direction I wanted them to go. But I'm like, you know what? They are finally making some bold moves, you know? She's not the object. She's not a love interest. She's by herself, doing her own thing, doing her graffiti thing, and fighting back, you know, her own way. And I thought that could make a really interesting show, right? But then they showcase, you know, Hera, which is the Twi'lek pilot. Okay, whatever. There's obviously got to be a pilot. So I thought, you know, maybe Sabine and Hera, and of course there's going to be a Jedi Hunter and some kind of, you know, Imperial Inquisitor, Enforcer, or whatever. I get that, but and then it gets ridiculous with just these very poorly cobbled together plots, or mini plots, mini skirmishes that don't make sense. It doesn't, when you put the scene together and you watch it, it doesn't make sense. And once again, it seems like they're just taking this amazing, rich franchise and going and just taking it absolutely in the most obvious, simple, easy direction. And this video is Sabine, back from February. Now, the only video they're showing is with that boy and Kane and the Cowboy Jedi and just whatever the big, you know, brute kind of character's name is. And I don't get it. Plus, how old is Sabine supposed to be? That's the other thing. I mean, in some scenes she looks about 14, in other scenes she looks about 24. Seems like they can't make up their mind. But I was willing to put all that aside. You know, she could be whatever age is just requires for her to be physically and mentally capable, right? Not every character has to be a love interest. Not every character has to have romantic angles, romantic arcs, romantic hooks. There can just be characters that stay true to themselves. And when I watch, you know, Hera and Kanan and their astromech clanker, or whatever his name is, just doing stupid stuff, it doesn't make sense. Like, the way they're arguing and fighting is like that friction is like so awkward. I mean, don't tell me that they were sitting there and about to make out or whatever, then the droid stopped them when they were arguing and fighting and bickering over stuff that didn't make sense. Tell him to hit things. Tell her to fly. It's like, they're flirting with each other through the droid? I mean, it seems like they're legitimately pissed at each other, and then it's like that whole thing never happened, and just, damn, the writing is so confusing, and it's just, but like, I was reading down in the comments, and they're saying, oh, kids aren't going to understand any of that. They're literally not going to care. Because kids are so simple. You know, and capturing a new generation. And people are saying this is the Star Wars they've been waiting for, and they hated Clone Wars. Clone Wars? Let's just get something straight. Clone Wars was the best thing that's ever happened to Star Wars since, if you're talking about anything motion picture wise or anything TV related, Clone Wars is the best thing that's ever happened to the Star Wars franchise in 20, 30 years. Literally, I mean, I'm not talking about the video games. There's been some amazing video games. But you just think about that for a second. And then Disney took the only great thing that was going for Star Wars, which was Clone Wars and Clone Wars Adventures, the MMO. And I guess if you want to count SWG, but SWG wasn't attached. Well, SWG got shut down because it was attached to the old franchise in some form or fashion, 4, 5, and 6. Sort of, kind of loosely. I think it was too attached, and they had to shut it down, and they were worried it was going to compete with SW or TOR, even though it wasn't. And there was those two, and then there was Clone Wars, and then obviously they shut the comic book down, rebooted that back under the Marvel header, but none of those things were really mainstream. They were all kind of, they had their own little niches, and that's it. The big driving force for Star Wars in the last 5 years hasn't been the movies 1, 2, and 3. It's been Clone Wars. And I think it was really the only thing that George Lucas got right. I mean, there were some bad episodes, but I don't know. They shut the only good thing down and replaced it with this. And it's not, it's not Sabine, the explosive artist, okay? It's this bullshit right here. Ezra, the street smart hero. Oh, yay. Because we need, a little boy, a coming of age story. What? Like, do they think that only little boys watch Star Wars? Do they think that boys can't... This whole notion that, like, boys can't relate to girl characters or whatever is ridiculous. Or that's... Because if you were worried about that, you'd say that girls can't relate to boy characters, and that boy characters just have to be there some kind of love interest too, and it's effed up, It is. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to revolve around this coming-of-age boy story, because you're going to have the same problem that you've always had in Star Wars ever since 4, 5, and 6, which is this boy is going to have to die or disappear, or the story's not going to get finished. Okay? Now, maybe they were smart enough to figure out a way around it this time. I don't know if Lucas ever wrote what happens to Ahsoka, but they're already writing in this story, this Rebel story, how they're going to tie up the loose ends from Clone Wars and Order 66. But they're going to be one-off things. I don't know, maybe if we're lucky there'll be a 4-parter where they go save the Jedi that didn't get wiped out. Why did we need another freaking barely puberty, I don't know, 14, 15-year-old boy? I mean, how much how many Star Wars fans are there really at that age? I mean, isn't there like an even amount of Star Wars fans from every gender, every background, every ethnicity, every age? I don't... Is it just like Disney's thing? I mean, I have nothing wrong with Freddie Prinze Jr., but I don't understand. That's a really big ship, by the way. It's not as big as an XS or, the Millennium Falcon or whatever, but it's a pretty good sized ship. Definitely not a strike fighter, definitely a spaceship, by the way, but stupid that the ship is in this video, because this is the Kanan video. I don't understand why they chose the direction that they chose. It just seems like the most easy, obvious, cookie cutter. Like they took no risk whatsoever. Kind of reminds me of TOR, No, this is Star Wars. We're not allowed to take risks. That's why I like Force Unleashed. That's why I like Shadows of the Empire. That's why Darth Maul was going to be awesome. That's why Star Wars 1313 was going to be awesome. Because those games took risks. That's why TOR was originally going to be awesome before they completely redid the game 1.5 times. There's just no risk. Everything is just absolutely cookie cutter. I would have been happier with Rebels if there were no Jedi. Yeah, you heard me. No Jedi. I'm so sick and tired of having, Jedi beaten over my head. And so maybe I would be an Imperial person because I'm as sick of Jedi as everybody else. But the thing is, if this was real life, Jedi would not have the Jedi code, and Sith would not have the Sith code, because both their codes are complete, total, utter nonsense. Peace is a lie. Oh, please. All the freaking Sith want is peace. When you're the last Sith, that means you're at peace. So don't tell me that peace is a lie. The Jedi, they want peace, but They're constantly preparing for war. They can't coexist, but without each other, neither one of them exists. I would have loved it if there were no Sith and no Jedi, except for Vader and Starkiller hunting everybody down. Watching everybody trying to get away from those two as they essentially mowed down the entire universe. And then watching Rebels try to go rescue what's left of ex-Jedi, because I mean the Jedi don't really exist. After Order 66, you know, the Jedi Order, they're just Force users. They're just isolated, abandoned, orphan, dead or dying Force users at that point. And if you go read Order 66, 501st, Force Unleashed, there's actually a lot of Force users out there. And I think Rebels is going to touch on that somewhat. But I think, and I think they did this on purpose, you massively, insanely dilute the existing universe by including a new Jedi and a half. You know, they just pull these Jedi out of their ass. And that's what they keep doing. Every single time there's another franchise, they just keep pulling more Jedi out of their ass. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know I talk about, you know, all the talking, even in the lightsaber battles. It's just talking. But I don't feel like any of these characters would actually kill each other if they had the chance. And he's got his stupid blaster slingshot, wrist shot thing. I don't think he would have really stabbed him, and that guy, if he could kill him, I don't think he really would. I'm not trying to get into their heads or anything. There's like no even remote sense of danger at all. There's not. It's just, it's weird. It has this weird, the whole thing has this weird feeling to it. But then you got this scene here where, oh, they're roughing up the Godel. I assume that's a Godel. Oh, they're roughing him up, and oh, they're eating his food. And oh, they're assholes. Right? Ha ha ha. They're, okay, we get it. They're pricks. Oh, the wise, cracking, street smart kid, of course. Cough, cough, frickin' Aladdin. Cough, cough, Robin Hood, robbing from the rich or robbing from the poor, from the rich to give back to the poor just so he can take more of it for himself. Whatever the hell weird-ass moral that's supposed to be. So he's a prick too. The Imperials are pricks. He's a prick. This guy gets screwed, right? So somehow, I guess it's just open season for this poor bastard to get blown up. Okay, he was just doing his job. He's dead, okay? He's in parts over there. Right? Those guys just saw their friend die. So of course they're pissed. They're gonna go find out who did this. Okay? This guy kicks that dude in the face, shoots him straight in the chest. He's dead now. These two can't hit each other because it's turned into that show. What's that called? police squad, basically. Yeah. Anyway. These guys, their buddies are getting killed. They're trying to figure out what's going on. This guy just... That guy's back's broken, right? That guy's neck probably just got broken off screen and then he got thrown into his friend. So I don't know, we've seen 5, 6, 7 stormtroopers die. Now, I know these aren't like our best friend buddy Camino stormtroopers. I know that these are the stormtroopers from, you know, the other base, the other planet where the clones think they're coming from Camino, but they don't even know what Camino is. That's just what they think Camino is. So I know these are like the douchebag troopers, wannabes with the inferior clones because they started cloning from other people other than Jango, but because Jango's DNA got corrupted and worn out because they used it so much. But still, just killed a ton of them. Okay, those 3 guys get ran over. That guy gets ran over. And these guys aren't going slow. I guess he's okay, but I mean, they could have just broke his back. And she is basically telling him, by the way, if the big guy catches you, he's going to kill you. Literally, but she doesn't say that. She's like, he's going to end you. But let's be honest, he's going to get killed. Right? So she's trying to save the boy, I guess. Or I don't know if she's trying to be smart. A smartass or whatever, but later he actually says, like, if you catch him, I'm gonna... He says end him, but obviously he's talking about killing him or whatever. But you've got this really interesting character with like all of 2 seconds of time and like 1 line. It's just... She's like, bye. You're gonna get killed, basically. They just leave her there. Not like, hey, are you okay, or whatever. No. This guy, all of a sudden, bam, those guys are dead. Okay? Just shot them. Shot them all, just like that. But, you know, I guess the walker doesn't do anything. It just blows my mind. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. I just wish they would be open and honest with themselves and stop trying to make a kid's... By the way, there's Sabine again, but she looks completely different. Unless this happens in... Unless this happens in 2 completely different time frames. But Sabine's got completely different hair, completely different armor, she looks a completely different age. And he looks a completely different age. So maybe this does happen in 2 timelines. Maybe they get together and a couple years magically pass in the first couple episodes. But it's weird that Sabine goes from looking about 14 to 24. But they don't explain any of that. I wish they would be honest with themselves. And stop trying to make a kid's show. Stop trying to be funny. Stop trying to add in dialogue and add in legitimate threats, I guess you could say. So, you know, we watched the ship battle, They were in absolutely no threat whatsoever. We watched a lightsaber battle. Neither of them seemed to be in any peril whatsoever. I don't think that guy would have killed the kid. I read his bio and stuff, and they don't actually talk about him exterminating Jedi as far as I can remember. He seems to be more like an auditor than anything else.
Inquisitor is not a Sith. To be a Sith is more than just the look. He does tap into the dark side. He's cold, he's analytical. He doesn't get angry. His intensity is based on the purpose, the assignment.
How do you make him a dark side user with a red blade who is intimidating and physical, but is not a pale imitation?
But he's not intimidating. That's the weird thing. Darth Maul is intimidating. Sidious is intimidating for a different reason. Dooku is intimidating in that kind of a dentist kind of way. And Grievous was intimidating because he was so lethal. You know, this Inquisitor, actually, and they call him a couple of different things. They call him an Inquisitor, and they call him some other stuff too. I don't know, but
of everybody's favorite baddie, and he went through many iterations.
Once we put the Utapauan head on, it all kind of fell into place, and suddenly there was this black-suited evil Inquisitor.
But he doesn't seem evil.
Felt real and human, and yet also a little creaturely and terrifying, and like you could be part of a nightmare.
Keep them contained. I want...
That's Jason Isaacs, by the way, the guy that played Lucius Malfoy. Felix, your sounds familiar. He also was Zhao in Last Airbender, and was also in both of the newer Castlevania video games. So, for voice actor, he's spot on. It's not his fault. It's just that this character,
them alive.
It was really exciting.
Yeah, see, he's supposed to get him alive. There's no threat.
Keep them contained. I want them alive.
It was really
because he's an Inquisitor. He's not an assassin. That's the difference between him and Maul. I apologize if I called him the Enforcer earlier. The Enforcer is a different guy. I know that, so I probably just jumbled my words up. But the Inquisitor is not there to kill. Inquisitors are there to extract information, which makes sense, right? Because he's probably charged with crushing the... Okay, now it says Jason Isaacs, my bad. But, they show this... But he's not in any danger. Inquisitors don't kill. I mean, even TOR's got that wrong. You know, you're an Inquisitor, but, like, are you really, like, an assassin or a sorcerer? There's really no, like, actual Inquisitor class, unless you roleplay and maybe, like, with investigation or something. Maybe you make an Inquisitor that way, but there's no subclass that I can think of. I mean, either shoot lightning or your madness or your healer. That's not really anything specifically inquisitive. Another thing, of course, they show him with a single lightsaber, and then this is also somehow a double lightsaber, so is he an Inquisitor, like, and an assassin? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, and that big reveal, like, wasn't really a reveal at all. It just seemed kind of silly. And the fact that this somehow comes around and a lightsaber comes out here, Then there's a second guard, and then it starts swinging around. Just like, can it only go like one direction? Does it automatically go a second direction? I mean, that's such a nonsense fighting style. It's just really. I could understand it being a little scary at first, but there's no way that thing can change directions. Certainly not by itself. With Darth Maul, it made sense, because Darth Maul actually had 2 lightsabers. But there isn't any lightsaber in this story that's actually that small. I mean, it'd have to end, like, right there. Either that or this is a completely different lightsaber, which I guess is possible. But, I mean, here it is, and you see it. Same light. It's the same lightsaber. There's not even... There's not even room for 2 hands there. And I guess it could swing around, like right there. But this has got to be like the smallest lightsaber, the smallest double-bladed lightsaber ever. And people say, oh, well, it shares a crystal coming out both ends or whatever. I don't know. That's not how Darth Maul built his, and so unless there's been a new design since then, I seriously doubt it. I don't think so, because Darth Maul had the only one, and since TOR technically never existed in this timeline, those were never there, so unless he built this himself and figured out how to only sometimes have the blade come out from one side, not the other, and I guess there may be some buttons, but I just... and maybe it's nitpicking, or whatever, maybe it's nitpicking, but it's hard for me to get immersed in this when literally, oh god, that stupid wrist slingshot. Was he too young to give him a blaster? Or since this is a becoming of age, when he grows older, he's going to have a blaster? Or was this just some kind of marketing trick so they could actually sell wrist slingshots to little kids? I mean, it's hard to tell. I guess this is the younger version of him, so I'll have to go look at the older ones, but I don't remember seeing a sidearm on him. But did he really think that, like, these little... I mean... And why does he bother... I guess his hands do fit there somehow magically. But why does he bother swinging this thing around? And if he wants to keep him alive, why all of a sudden he's about to stab him? Because I don't think he is about to stab him. I think he's just scaring him. He's only resisting because he didn't want to get pulled away. Not because he was trying to stab him. And while he was being held up, why didn't the kid just grab his slingshot and finish him off? Why did he say, run? No, they could have just killed him right there. And they wouldn't have this guy chasing him. Stupid freaking... And then that, wherever the hell that came from... I guess it was right here and swung down. And then it sinks in a little bit. And then starts spinning counterclockwise. Why? What would you even do with that? You can't swing that at somebody. In fact, you can't even block with that because they could just shoot you right in the middle, and those blades can't possibly be going fast enough to actually deflect a bolt because Jedi are moving their blades way faster than that. I mean, how can that even be scary? I'd be like, wow, that's the most ridiculous and useless, unfunctional thing I've ever seen in my life. That kid could just, because it's actually moving slower now than if he was moving it himself, he could just take his little wrist rocket and just shoot the guy right in the frickin' hand. Okay, because there's no way those blades are moving fast enough. And if I was him, I would have been like, you've got to be kidding me. Just take the lightsaber and just jam it right in the middle. What, he can't move his hand anywhere. If he moves that forward, he's going to chop his legs off. His own legs. If he tries to move it back, he's going to chop his own head off. He just sealed his fate. He just screwed himself. and like, where would they teach you that where would they teach you that form? Okay? The only way that any of them learn lightsaber battles was from being taught by a Jedi Master or a Sith Master. So did Vader teach him? Did he just pull him out of his ass? Because it's really hard for Vader to find people to work for him. Not only that, but Palpatine would never let anybody work with him for very long. I guess maybe Vader doesn't know that yet, but Anakin would remember that, you know, he didn't let Dooku work with him for very long. He wouldn't let Ventress work with him. He knows that he can only have a secret apprentice, so this can't possibly be his real apprentice. So this guy just learned how to use, just pulled this lightsaber out of nowhere and just learned how to use the lightsaber because whatever. I can't buy into any of this. And I've been waiting for a really long time to make this video, and it's so stupid. And every video they make just irritates me even more at how insulting they're being to the franchise. This is the most stupidest and immature I've ever seen anything with the Star Wars name on it. Let's look at one more thing. I guess maybe a couple more things. So they show this one, and they're talking and things and flying, and then all of a sudden R2 and Chomper, or Grumpy, Grouchy, or whatever his name is, are fighting. And then C-3PO is there. Oh, duh, blah, blah, blah. And I guess this is younger Sabine? I don't know. Or, not, yeah. I don't know, because her armor, it seems like her armor keeps changing. And, this whole time, he still doesn't have a gun. So I guess he's going to be using his wrist rocket through the whole thing. Seems like just an incredibly underpowered weapon. Yeah, he is. He's using his wrist rocket right there. Why can't he have a gun? Did they just want him to be unique? Or are they like anti-gun? Are they like anti-gun? I mean, even the Jedi has a gun, which is fine. Jedi use guns all the time outside the main universe. Sabine has 1 or 2 guns. Mr. Beefstick has a pretty large rifle. But I don't know. It would have been more interesting if they had actually given him a pistol. Something that he could have actually defended himself with. Instead, he's like the back guy at the end of the charge, shooting like his little itty-bitty slingshot that it doesn't actually ever show doing anything in any of the videos I've seen so far. And it actually seems like these two are almost the muscle, and then he's just around in case they ever run into the Jedi guy. Or, I mean, the Sith guy. I don't know. That's so confusing. So confusing and frustrating. And then I guess... Let's see. I guess he's just here so this guy has somebody to fight with? I don't know. And I apologize, I forget all their names. But I guess they didn't want to have another girl bad guy for some reason. Oh, I guess his rocket, little wrist rocket, did actually just kill a trooper. There's one more I wanted to find. Dang it. Oh yeah, here it is. They tease that like Luminara gets captured, and so it kind of implies that they're gonna have to go back and rescue, the old cast, because the old cast needs rescuing. Even though Order 66 was to just murder them all. But I guess they're going to act like some of them weren't murdered. Like maybe Vader only wanted to murder them personally, which doesn't make any sense because they had no problems murdering all the Jedi in the first place. And he was specifically sent to kill them all. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to keep them alive to try to find the rest or whatever. But I feel like it's a cheap cash-in instead of making this the focal point of the show. Like, in my opinion, this cast would only exist to put the second cast together. But I still think that they're not going to let the future cast exist, or the past cast exist, I guess, with this new one. But there's no way this new cast can exist either, because none of these characters exist in 4, 5, and 6, so unless they're going to finally here's the only way they can ever redeem any of this bullshittery. Let all the casts come together and then wipe out this Inquisitor and this Hunter guy and then leave. Find Ahsoka, find Starkiller, find Ventress, find Luminara, and a couple others. I can't think of all their names right now. Just pick them up and then link up with the other people on the Mandalorian planets from the Order 66 and 501st books and just leave. That's it. That's the only that's the only thing that is really going to make sense, because there's like so many characters from Clone Wars that just disappear, that you never hear from again. And they make this so tangled and confused. I mean, really, what's this boy gonna do? And what's his master really training him for? Fighting the Empire? Does that guy really think he can fight Darth Vader? I mean, Do they think they're going to put an army together? You know, it was Starkiller that put the army together. Are they saying that this kid is going to spark the rebellion? Like that he's the new Luke Skywalker, that he's going to bring balance to the Force? It doesn't work. And I wish they would have just recognized that and made it clear and upfront at first, because that would be more interesting than just waiting for this, the rehashed status quo. This feels like that's all it is. Just maintaining the status quo. They're too scared to take risks. When I think now is the time to be taking all the risks. And I know it's not my money, but what does Disney have to lose? They're gonna make up their investments back on the movie, you know, and the movie's just gonna maintain status quo, and they're gonna make their money, and people are gonna love it and hate it, and blah blah blah. And but this show is their chance to actually make something good. Instead, it just seems like it's status quo, child TV filler. Whereas, like, Clone Wars was edgy, and it took a lot of risks. And it could be legitimately funny whenever it wanted, but it could be interesting whenever it wanted. It's just, man, it's so frustrating. To just watch the intellectual property that you love get squandered and re-squandered and re-squandered over and over again. Watch your favorite games get canceled. Watch your favorite games get shut down. It's just like, and then they do this. It's just like, what's your problem? Like, are they worried that somehow the franchise is going to get cheapened? It's like, if you make an amazing Darth Maul game, that's insane. You know, if you make an amazing Bounty Hunter game, you make a show about an awesome bounty hunter, you know, you can make a show about an awesome smuggler, and then you can tie them all together later. You know, Disney could make 6 Star Wars shows. Okay? And then let people choose which one they want to watch. Make them all at the same time. It's like printing money, if they do it right. Just make a ton of amazing content. Drive the innovation of the story. Say, we don't care what happens in 4, 5, and 6 anymore. We don't care what happens in 7, 8, and 9, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to make an awesome story. We don't care if kids watch this or not. We don't care if adults watch this or not. Make the characters true to themselves. So, I hope I brought up a lot of good points, and I hope this video gets to stay up. Don't mean any copyright infringement. I never do. I'm just trying to be critical and constructive, I guess. What I would do if I was in charge of Star Wars Rebels.